There are various ways to search within sequences like lists, tuples, and strings. This video will talk about 5 common methods to search in sequences. The first one is using in keyword. The in keyword is used to check if an element exists within a sequence. It will return true if the element is found, otherwise it will return false. Let's say you have a list containing values 4, 8, 2, 9, and 7, and you want to find out whether 20 exists in the list or not. In the print function, the statement that says 20 in my list is a way for the program to ask, is 20 in my list? When you run this, it will return false because 20 is not in the list. What about if we want to search for 2? When you run this, it returns true because 2 is in the list. We can also do so with a string. Here, we want to find if character E exists in my string. When you run it, it returns true. Now here, because you want to find a character E, you might want to make sure that you enclose the character in a single quote or a double quote. Otherwise, you might end up getting error. Moving on, let's say we want to find character J. Running this code gives you false, because character J is not in the string. You can combine using keyword in with not in. Running this code gives you true, because character J is not in the string. Now, you might be wondering, all the examples so far are just printing true and false. How can we apply it in developing other logics of Python programming? One example can be in the if statement like this. If J is not in my string, then print a message that says J is not in the string. Now we move on to the second searching method, which is using .index method. This method finds the index of the first occurrence of an element in a sequence. Let's see from this example. We want to find the index at which 7 is located in the list. Value 7 first occurrence is found at index 1. And the .index method returns 1 and got printed out. The same thing happens when you try it out using string sequence. Here, we want to find where character E is located. From the string, you might notice there are 2 locations where E is located. But the .index method returns the first location where it found the character E, which is at index 1. So the output is 1. But I want to show you one problem with using .index method. Let's see this example. We want to find character Z, but character Z is not in the string. So instead of returning a value to indicate the element is not found, the program crashes by throwing value error message. Well, the good thing is you can handle this problem using try and except strategy. This is called exception handling. Here, within the try block, if something goes wrong here, it will pass it to the except block. For this example, we only catch the value error exception and print any appropriate message as you wish about that error. Here, we run the code again to find if character Z is in the string, and the output shows element not found in the string. Now, what about if we change the character that we want to search as character C? We run it and the value 3 is printed out, indicating that the character C is at index 3. The third style is using .find method. It works like .index, but the .find method is only specific to strings. It will try to find the first occurrence of the substring that you are looking for and returns its index. The good thing about this method is that if it couldn't find it, it doesn't throw any error messages or cause the program to crash. Instead, it returns -1. In this example, we try to find the substring world. Then it returns the index of the first character of the substring. Let's try some other substring that is not in my string. We put Python here. Now it returns -1, which shows that Python word is not in the string. Alright, the fourth style is slightly more advanced. We use a list comprehension. This is to retrieve all elements that satisfy a specific condition. First, prepare a variable to receive a new list. Let's call this result. Now here is the important part. You start with a square bracket to indicate that this is a list. X here is the value that will be retrieved one by one that will eventually form a new list. Then, for all the X that is in the list, get X that is greater than 4. When you print the resulting list, you get 9, 10, 5, and 7. What happens here is that while iterating every element in the list, If the element is greater than 4, the program will pick the value of that element to be added in the new list. The fifth one that I want to show you is count method. This is useful if you want to count how many occurrences of an element in a sequence. The count method will then return the number of occurrences in that sequence. In this example, we want to count how many times the character E appears in the string. In this case, it is 2. What about character O? It is 1. And lastly, what about character Z? It is 0 because Z is not in the string. Alright, that's it for today. So leave a comment below with your questions, feedback, or ideas for future videos. Thanks for watching.